Low back pain sucks. I know from personal experience, having gone through many episodes of low back pain in my life and taking care of thousands of patients that have had low back pain, both acute and chronic, that this can have a massive impact on your daily life. I've had so many patients, they can't even put on their socks, tie their shoes, roll over in bed. All these simple things. If your low back goes out, it can cause a massive problem in your day-to-day life. So what I put together are a couple exercises and stretches that if you put them into your daily routine, it's only 5 to 7 minutes. It could reduce your chances of having some of these debilitating attacks and help you if you have chronic back pain. It will help you move better and get your spine in a place that you can start to do the things that you want to do. So give these a try and let me know in the comments how it makes your body feel. Okay, let's talk about a few things that you can do for your low back and your mid back. We're going to steal a few things from yoga here. So one of the things we're going to do is try and get the spine in flexion and extension. So from this position, what we want to do, make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders, make sure your knees are underneath your hips, and we're going to work through cat camel, cat cow. I've heard it called a couple different things. Basically, what you're going to do is arch and flatten your spine. So from this position, what we want to do first, like a cat, is basically create flexion in this part of the spine, let your head go down, and try and really arch there so we get a nice arch this way. So this helps mobilize the thoracic spine here. It's a nice stretch for the low back. Then we're just going to do the opposite. So your hips, sometimes this is tricky for guys because your hips actually have to roll here. Now Jeff's doing a great job with this, actually changing the angle of his pelvis, which is perfect. Then we're going to go the opposite direction. So you're going to tuck the chin down a little bit. Don't strain too hard. Should feel like a great stretch here, nice stretch here. Usually 10 or 15, and that is a great spinal warm-up for any other activities that you're going to do. That's perfect. Another one we can borrow from yoga is from this position, since you're already here. I often think of, okay, if I'm in one position, what are as many movements as I can do in one spot? So from this position, we could also do another stretch like a child's pose where basically everything stays the same. You're going to sit back on your heels and let your head just kind of relax, gently relax. This is a nice stretch for this part of the spine. If you get any pain with any of these things, of course, you would just stop. So a nice gentle stretch here. You can hang out there for a few seconds. Really good to do this stuff in the morning because we want to try and create some mobility for the rest of our day. If we were to look at a mobility for the upper back, what I do is I then move into an upper back mobility where basically I'll leave one arm here and I'll put this hand behind my head. So we'll bring this hand here and just one of the things we're going to now try and do is rotate. Really try and isolate that middle part of the back. It's going to be pretty tricky. That's it. So then your elbow kind of guides. So you basically be opening. Yep, that's it. Doing 10 or so on each side. And then look for asymmetry. So try the other side. So again, one arm's flat, one arm's behind the head, and you're just trying to open and twist. And you'll feel this around the shoulder blades. You should feel this in the mid back. You shouldn't feel any strain in the low back. With your heels back, what we're trying to do is take out rotation of the lumbar spine and just focus it here. So it's okay if you don't feel like there's a lot of rotation because there isn't. We just want to mobilize it. That's really good. Okay, the other thing we could do from hands and knees, if you go hands and knees, we can do bird dog. So this is more of a strengthening for the low back. So what we're going to do from this position is we can do, if you've done lots of low back stuff before, you can move right into opposite arm, opposite leg. If you've never done any low back stuff, what you want to do from here is keep everything tight. Like I shouldn't be able to push Jeff over. That's how tight his abdomen is. Almost like I was going to punch him. And then from this position, he's just going to straighten one leg back. Yep, you're just going to hold that. And the big trick here is you don't want to swing your body to one side. You want to be stable enough like he is that everything's super tight. He's doing a great job. Okay, and that leg comes back in and kick the other leg back. That's perfect. Okay, you could start that way. The next way to progress this, you can come back in, is go opposite arm, opposite leg. And that thumb can point up, take some strain off the shoulder. Doesn't even have to quite be that high. That's perfect. Holding for 2 seconds, and then the other side. The optimal number here is an endurance number, which is going to be about 20 repetitions on each side. and you're holding for a 2 count each time. That's great. This is a great stabilizer for the low back. Great job. Next, what I would do is lay flat on your stomach, and your arms are going to be just by your sides. Yep. What we're going to do is practice a little bit of extension. So what you're going to do from this position, raise your arms off the ground, and now try and raise your chest off the ground. Use your back muscles here to stabilize. So you're going to hold here until it feels like you need to let go. So it could be 5 seconds if you've never done this. It could be 10 seconds, 15 seconds. You're trying to build up endurance in this position. When it feels like you need a little rest, you're going to come out of it and totally relax for a few seconds. Just let that kind of breathe and relax for 5 or 10 seconds. Then you're going to come up again. So you're going to use, that's it. You're going to use your lower back muscles to bring your shoulders up. This helps with posture. It helps with low back strength. Of course, if any of this gives you pain, you would just stop. And I usually try and start with 2 repetitions in a row. Hold them as long as you can, but this is an endurance challenge. You want to work up to this. You want to start to see how long you can hold this. It's going to be really good for the low back. You can feel all this activity. Now, to progress this, what you would do, the next time he comes up, what he's going to do, this would be like phase 2. So you come up again. Now you're going to look over your shoulder. So you're going to look over this shoulder for a 2 count. Then you're going to look over this shoulder for a 2 count. And if you guys could feel his paraspinal muscles or the muscles along his spine, when he turns his head, he gets even more contraction of those muscles. So it fires those muscles up even more. That's good. And when he needs a break, he's just going to take a break. That's great. So those are things I would do for strength and stability. We can do a few stretches on his back if you want to roll over. Again, we did it with the hips, but you can do single knee to the chest. So do a couple single knee to the chest. That's it. Those are really good. Usually from my back, the other thing I'll do is put the soles of my feet together and just open like a butterfly. That's it. This helps, just passive stretch here, just helps stretch the SI joints in the pelvis. Usually feels really good. And the last one I do is usually some type of twist. So what you can do is bring your knees together, and then your knees are going to go to one side, and your arms on this side. That's it. Just do that again. Yep. No problem. So another stretch we can do, your hips are going to come from one side, and then you can even turn your head the other side. And what you're trying to do here is try and get your shoulders to stay on the ground. That's it. And then do the other side. Good. Another version of this that I've seen is like a book. So you're going to start here. Hands are going to be together on that side. That's it. So what we're going to do is just open the book and try and get that shoulder flat. Good. And then come back over here. So opening the book. Just like that. Trying to get that shoulder flat. And you may have an asymmetry, which you want to work on. It's good to find asymmetries. Good. Try the other side. Great. You find a difference one side?
Yeah.
I can see it. So
Yeah.
that's something you'd want to work on. Especially as a younger person, if we already find an asymmetry, it's not going to get better over time. Perfect. Great. So that's a little program you can do. Literally takes just a few minutes. Good for mobility, good for strength. If anything gives you pain, of course, you would just stop.